Hey lovelies, welcome back to
Me,
and Mini Me,
a podcast with Shaima and
Tia.
And today's topic, we are going to be talking about bullying.
Yes,
So bullying.
I'm very excited about this topic.
Are you? Why is that? Got so much to share.
Well, yeah. Also, I just being a kid, you just kind of see it every day. It's just
I was going to say everyone's experienced it.
everyone's
haven't they?
experienced it. Either they've seen it or they've probably definitely experienced it.
Yeah, they've had some sort of bullying happening to them in
Yeah.
their life, right? I agree. So you've got a lot to share with everyone. And yeah, it's a hot topic. I know all the parents out there, one of the many things that we get worried about is, what if our kids are getting bullied? What do I do when they're bullied? How do I handle the situation? Blah, blah, blah. But I think I guess we live in a world where we're supposed to do things the proper way, because if you're not, you're not politically correct, or you're not doing it the proper way, or whatever it
Yeah.
is. But I think bullying is bullying, and I think it's important that your children are able to talk to the parents about it, because the worst thing that could ever happen is a child gets bullied but doesn't feel comfortable or confident to talk to their parents or like someone they trust, like a teacher or I don't know, another adult.
Grandparents.
Exactly. It's really important that communication has to be there. Absolutely has to be there. And there are things that you need
And
to
even
do.
if it's like something like, oh, I'm scared that they're going to go talk to their parents and I just don't want to tell them, or I'm scared that she's going to do this and that and that and that. So you shouldn't feel like that. You should feel like I can talk to you about it.
Yeah.
And I can just go up to you and say I got bullied today, and yeah.
And you need to be able to say that to me. You need to not be scared about, what my parents are going to think about me, or what my parents are going to say, or maybe the child feels like they might get into trouble, like
For getting in a fight or
something.
something like that.
And so maybe they don't want to tell you. Like, I don't know. I think communication is really important. Like, for me to get you to be able to talk to me always and tell me everything, I had to keep reassuring you that it's okay, that you can tell me. When you tell me, nothing's going to happen, you're not going to get into trouble, I'm here to help you. Here
And
to
of course, if
support
I
you.
know it's something I'm going to get in trouble for, you would also know.
Yeah,
So you wouldn't say, if you know I'm going to get in trouble, you wouldn't say you're not going to get in trouble.
yeah.
That's how I can trust you. Because if I was to get in trouble, I should say, you can just tell me because it's better and you don't want to lie. But you might get in trouble, just like, it's in a nice way. Like,
Yeah.
But don't worry, like, you might get into trouble, but it's not the end of the world. Like,
That's true. It's not the end of the world, though, is it? So
you just learn learn the lesson.
the lesson, and that's the most important thing. But you being able to come to me and tell me, Mama, so and so happened today, and that upset you, or that's made you worried, or you're worried about this girl or some boy who's gonna like keep bugging you. And sometimes when kids can't talk, they start showing other signs, like other things, like for instance not wanting to go to school, waking up every day and crying, and having a little meltdown. It's probably because someone at school is making them feel really uncomfortable, and they're being bullied, and you feel like the kid is just having another meltdown, I can't deal with this, but you don't actually know, maybe there's something there that's upsetting them, someone there that's picking on them, but they're too scared to tell you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that is really important, because how else are you going to know? If your child can't come and tell you, Mom, this is happening, you would never know. You would always think they'd never want to go to school. Well, maybe they do want to go to school, but some people in school...
Yeah, most people assume like, oh, they're just lazy, they just want to be on their phone all day. They just don't want to go to school because they're lazy and because they're going to fail their test or whatever.
They hate school.
They hate school. But no, actually, at the end of the day, it can be a billion things. But one of those a billion things could be being picked on. And it's never something nowadays I've realised parents don't think about. It doesn't... Excuse me. It doesn't come to their head straight away. It's not like one of the first things that come to their head. Like when they see their child, like not wanting to go to school, they go, just stop being a baby, just get up. Or, I know you hate school, but it's okay. Or, I know you're tired, I'll give you 5 more minutes and then you can go to school. They always assume these things. But they never assume, like, bullying, which I recognise.
I think you think, sometimes parents think,
like this generation,
their eyes are not blue and, you know, like they're not punched up and they don't have scratches, so they can't be bullying. But bullying doesn't even need to be like violent. It could be like intimidation, it could be verbal, it could be just threatening behaviour, it could be toxic relationships.
What's toxic relationships?
So a relationship that with a friend or someone that's really unhealthy, like they make you always, they make you feel really bad about yourself. They're always like, you know, having a joke at your expense, just being mean, copying you, going everywhere you go, like bugging you, like just really like getting on your nerves all the time. Like they're not like being mean, like they're not saying bad words and they're not hitting you, but just being around them makes you very, very upset, and uncomfortable. And that's called a toxic relationship. I think that is a type of bullying. I feel like that's, don't you think?
Yeah. I've definitely experienced many toxic relationships.
Yeah, so have I.
Many. It gets on my nerves so much. But yeah, I go to school because I know, like, school, it's not an option. It's like, I can't not go to school to one point where I'm like, you just get out of bed, just deal with this again today. Like, it's not like, I can't escape from it. You know, I can't escape from it. I just have to live with it, you know.
With a toxic relationship?
With a toxic relationship.
As friend,
at school. A friend, or, just somebody or... Like, I've had many, and every single time I'm like... How
do you deal with it?
Children are different. Some children, at specific ages, when you're young... It's very hard to defend yourself when you're getting bullied, verbally or physically. But I think when you're older, it's quite easy because our brains develop like an older version. So we understand how to fight. We understand like words and what they mean. So what really helped, what I always did was I used to just verbally like give, like if they would say something to me, I would ask them a question and I would say, but like how is that related? Like that's it's 2 different things. Well, how is that related? And then I'd say, like X, Y, Z, like I don't know. I wanted to ask, like...
Give me an example.
At school, a lot of people ask me, why is your hair short? Like, this was a while ago. Like, why is your hair short? Are you okay? Like, are you sad? Oh my God, and they keep bugging me and asking me several times, like, irrelevant questions when nothing's wrong with me. And that used to get me quite upset, because I'm like, just because everybody in my school knows about my life, the big part of my life, doesn't mean, like, I'm an egg and I'm going to break. Like, you don't need to ask me every single second, are you okay? What's wrong? How did this happen? How did that happen? Yeah, let me take you. Like, that really used to get on my nerves, and I used to see that as bullying, because it's like, just leave me alone. So I used to say, like, sometimes I'd say, that's not really your business, I don't want to tell you, or if you don't leave me alone, I'm going to go tell the teacher. I used to say stuff to understand what they're, like, I used to be like, I don't like this, like, stop, and if you don't stop, I'll go tell the teacher.
So this is one of the important things, like, to deal with bullying, for parents and for the children, is that the parents need to teach kids how to be assertive and stand up for themselves. And children, you need to learn, like, you now know how to stand up and say no and have boundaries. But this particular scenario, what your friends have done at school and being, like, overly
I have a really bad.
That wouldn't be bullying.
That wouldn't be bullying.
No.
That'd be irritating.
That's annoying.
Just called annoying, getting on your nerves.
But if you had an example of someone bullying you, or like a toxic relationship, someone that made you feel really, like, uncomfortable, or kept saying stuff that are not nice, or someone actually, God forbid, hit you or something, like.
Well, I did have a violent interaction a while ago. I was quite young, like year 3 or 2, and I have one where one of my toxic relationship fake friend, fakeish friend, said something that really, really hurt me. But for an example, if you want to know the violent one, was I was walking and I had a crush on a boy, and then my toxic relationship friend, which I've been stuck with me for a long time now, had pushed me towards him, and I was like, no. Like, no, I don't want to go. Like, I don't feel comfortable going to him. Not that, like, I'm all shy or anything. But I was like, no, I don't want to go to him. I don't feel comfortable going to him. She pushed me anyways, and there's this, like, brick wall. Him and his friends, like, pushed me against the wall, and they took my time. They started to tighten it, and then they just walked off. So that really, really, really made me angry. It even hurt me. It just made me angry. It just made me feel like I wanted to go up to them and, like, say something, or, like, take their tie and go like that. But obviously, I don't know why I didn't.
Why do you think you didn't?
I didn't because I didn't want to get in trouble. But now, if I think about it, there's some sides you don't want to do things, but then you regret. You don't want to do them because you want to be good and you don't want to get in trouble. But sometimes you have to do them to stand up for yourselves, even if you get in trouble.
I agree.
So that's one of the examples.
So when that incident happened, did you do anything? Did you tell a teacher?
I think I told the teacher, and he got in trouble, like, really bad trouble.
Did he apologise to you?
I can't remember.
Has it happened again?
No, it's never happened again.
Okay.
I think everybody just got, I don't know, like, it was just like, this incident has already happened to this girl, so no one touched this girl. Go bully someone else, go touch someone else. So they would, like, because I think, if I was the bully, if I was in the mindset of a bully, and I touched you once, I wouldn't go ahead and think about touching you twice, because then I'd be like, oh, maybe she'll touch me. Because she'd be fed up. She'll be like, no, that's enough. Like, stop touching me. Stop being violent against me. Because the first time, it's like, oh, you don't know how she's going to react. But because you've already done it, I think that's why nobody has bullied me that way before.
Because the way you stood up for yourself, the way you went and reported him,
Yeah.
you told the teacher about him.
Kind of, yeah.
What other things have you done at school to make people think I'm not gonna bully this girl?
Well, one of these things was kind of an accidental bully. So she was bullying me, but I don't think she didn't mean it for it to come out that way, but it really hurt me. And she had said, "You're kind of lucky that you have a disabled brother and that you're sick." And that just, I put my head down and I was like, wow, she had the nerve to say that. I've never heard anybody tell anybody, adult or child, you're lucky to have a disabled brother or be sick and be sick. Like, that is nothing to be lucky about.
That is extreme.
That's
like, just wrong.
Like, how am I lucky? How is anybody
person,
lucky? You go up to them and you say, "You're kind of lucky that you have a sick brother and you're ill."
That's disturbing.
That's disturbing, like disturbing. And then she said sorry and had
What did you do?
detention. What did I do? Well, I put my head down, and then I think I told her in the room. I told the teacher. I said, "Miss, I don't really like." Or I told her. I said, "I actually don't really like what you said. Like, I can't remember exact words, but I said something around those words. Like, I don't like what you said. That's not really true. I'm not lucky to be sick, and I'm not lucky to have an ill brother, disabled brother. I mean." And then she was like, "Oh no, but I didn't really mean it like that." And then I was like, "So then, like, what?" Like, I was just confused. I was like, "So what did you mean it?" And then we were in a room with, like, it was just us two in a room with one more teacher, and yeah, and then I told that one person as we were leaving, and then she told the head teacher, deputy head, and she got detention and wrote an apology letter and said sorry, and then I was like, oh.
And you told me about it.
And then I told you about it.
And I spoke to the school.
Yeah.
And I said to the school, which is another important thing that you need to do.
Stand up for your children.
Stand up for your children. Have the school involved. Have the teachers involved. Don't let things go. Like, literally don't let things go, because
and
there needs to be
will
a stop.
Do something if you
exactly.
tell them.
And
like, they're not just going to stand.
You have to be
just
firm. You have to be firm with the school.
Directions.
You're firm with your teachers. Exactly, that this kind of behaviour won't be accepted. You will not accept it as a parent, and neither will your child. But the child needs to see the parent have their back and stand up for them, to feel that they know that they, like, this crap is not going to continue. And I remember telling the school, and I said, okay then, right. I said, I need a meeting.
Yeah.
And I remember speaking to them, the head of year and the head teacher and the teacher and blah, blah, blah. And I said, so-and-so happened, and you need to have an intervention with this girl. You need to get the parents involved, because this needs to stop. And they were like, yeah, of course, oh my God. They were like, and the school obviously did that, and they spoke to the parents and, whatever. I was like, that's really messed up. That's really disturbing. Like, who says that kind of stuff? I remember also the school had a really funny policy about you having to play with all the kids, and apparently not just Tia, but the school policy is that you can't say no to anyone. So you gotta play with everyone when they were much
If
younger.
anybody asks you to play, you have to say, yeah, of course.
So, which is something that was really kind of...
And just be happy the whole time about it.
Kind of unrealistic. And I remember Tia would come back every day from school getting really annoyed and frustrated, because some girls, some kids really
or boys
like to play with Tia, but sometimes she's not in the mood to play with... Like any kid. Like, sometimes you want to play with these kids and sometimes you want to play with a different child. Like, you don't usually play when you're young. You don't usually play with the same people. You want to play with different people doing different things.
But as you get older, you have specific friends.
Exactly. But when you're young, it's always changing, right? But this school, nope, you have to say yes to everyone. And it became very frustrating because the same people were asking her, same friends were asking her, I want to play this and I want to play with you and I want to do that. And she has to always say yes. And it became so frustrating.
I couldn't even say,
like she felt
I
like
didn't really
she
want
was
to play
like,
right now. I had to say, yeah, sure.
I remember you coming back being all choked up and getting all emotional, and it's just like, I've had enough. I don't want to keep playing with these people doing these things. I'm like forced to do this. And I remember speaking to the school and I was like, and I spoke to you and I said, no, you need to say that in a kind and polite way that, you know, you're not saying no as into the person, but you're not, today's not the day. Today I feel like doing something else.
With someone
else. I will play with you, but maybe tomorrow or next week.
I think
I spoke to the school about it as well. And I was like, kids need to stand up for themselves, man. They need to, in this real world, you can't say yes to everyone and everything. Yeah. You need to know when to say no. And
like when you get older, someone asks you to marry them. Yes.
No, of course not. Like, you know, it doesn't work like that.
Will you take this job? Yes.
No, you got to have your own opinion. You got to stand up for yourself, and you got to say no when you feel like it's no.
Yeah.
And what you want to do when you want to do it is what you need to.
At my time,
at your time, with who it is. I was like to the school, you're teaching them to be broken. You're teaching them to be subordinate. Obedient.
It's like with robots.
They're not programmed like that. You need to let them be themselves and be creative. Yes, you have to teach them kindness. Yes, you have to teach them to be nice to each other, not to be mean, right? But you need to also allow them to develop themselves and to, you know, blossom their characters.
And if a child sees me saying, I don't really want to play right now, I just want to play with someone else maybe today, then that's okay. But if they might see it like in a different way, then obviously that's in life. That's what happens. People might think you said it in a way that's normal. Then you just go speak to the teacher. The teacher will sort things out. Done. Doesn't mean I have to let you go. Yes, I'll play with you. Yes, I'll play with you that game. Yes, we'll play it. Let's go, and then you go play. It doesn't have to be like that. You can have your own decisions.
I agree.
Pick. And actually, going back to the point where I have to say yes to everything, I think once I had started to say, there was a time where I was like, oh, just forget about it. And then I just was like, you know what? I'm just going to say, I want to play with someone else today. Maybe I can play with you tomorrow or another time. One mistake I did was saying, I'm going to play with you tomorrow. And then they're getting upset saying, and then they come tomorrow and I'm playing with someone else and they're like, but you said you're going to play with me today. And then I'm like, okay, I'll play with you tomorrow. And then I realised maybe I shouldn't say specific dates. Maybe I should say I'll play with you the next time I want to play with you. Or
yes, be generic.
Yeah.
Not specific.
But I remember I'd had enough. I was like, do you mind if I play with someone else? Just this once, or just because I want to just, you know, play something else with someone else. And then they were like, yeah, sure.
That's okay. Yeah. Why not? You should be allowed to play with whoever you want. Wow. I remember I was...
Give me some of your examples.
I remember when I was a kid, I was bullied at school. Well, a couple of stories. Once I remember I was really young. I don't remember the details, but I remember some kids, I think, either hit me or wanted to hit me or something. I don't remember. Anyway, I remember telling my mum about this. And my mum came into the school and she's like, who's the child? And I said, it was so-and-so. And I remember my mum, like, I think almost running after the child at school. And where is he? Like, she proper scared the girl. It's like, don't you ever come next to my daughter if you will. You're going to be dealing with me, not with her, if you ever lay your finger on her or something like that. yeah, that bully never came again, or she never touched me again. I never saw her again. But yeah, back in the days, Mum never got into trouble. This was allowed, clearly. You know,
if you
a
did
grown
that
adult
nowadays,
running around the school.
if that happened today, you should
get arrested.
You get arrested.
Probably. Yeah, my mum.
For threatening a child.
Nah, my
in a
mum,
public school.
my mum was mad. But yeah, that definitely put the bully away. That scared them to hell, and they never came.
Do you remember any ones when you were a bit older?
I remember I told you in year 6 about a story about this boy. Me and him were friends, but he was always picking on me, and I think maybe we were very competitive because he's like, me and him were on the same level. And he was very competitive, and I think it used to get on his nerves that I was, as bright as him or whatever, or I was better than him. Or I don't know what his issue was. Anyway, and I remember he used to always wind me up and
you Egyptians,
sly things. And then I remember once he said, nah, 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 and he kept doing this noise. Anyway,
because you Egyptians dance like this. Nah, nah, nah,
I was really mean, and I said something really bad. I don't want to say what it was back to him. But I stated a fact, and that got me into trouble. But in my defense, I stood up for myself, and all I did is stated the fact. Like, he was winding me up, and he was like he was saying, because my dad's from Egypt, and they're like, oh, Egyptians dance like this, but he doesn't know that Egyptian belly dance, actually, that was ancient Egyptians, but not like us, like we're different time, right? And he used to always do that, and he used to really get on my nerves, and I started to get really annoyed. So I was like, yeah, okay. So I told him a fact about Egyptians, and that hit a nerve, and that was very insensitive of me because I was a racist, and I got into serious trouble. I remember sitting down in the room and writing hundreds and hundreds of words saying sorry, I'm sorry, or whatever. And I apologised to him, even though I didn't think that I should, but that was back then. But the moral of the story, he never bullied me again because I made him cry, and I realised that no one can bully me because
you stand up for yourself.
I stand up for myself, and my tongue is sharp, really sharp. So, and I think no one's ever.
And you get what your parents get. I think my tongue's quite sharp as well.
Yeah.
I'm starting to get a bit sharp. It's not quite sharp yet.
A bit of sharpness.
Yeah.
So yeah, even though I'm very short and petite, but everyone knows I'm petite and mighty.
Yeah.
They used to always call me fierce.
Petite, mighty and feisty.
Yeah. I'm very fierce and feisty. But that's okay. I don't mind. I make it up from my height. I'm not trying to make up. But yeah.
Instead.
But what other times have I been bullied? I remember at work, some girl at work, she tried to think that she was some woman. She was a friend of mine, but she thought she was going to have, a moment with me, and I let it slide. And then one day I just sat her down and just gave it to her really hard, and I made her cry her eyes out, and she got really upset. And that was it. And I made sure that she shut up for the rest of her life, and she would never talk to me like that again. That was a bit mean, but I just don't. I had a friend, a very toxic friend as well. I put up with for years. I put up with this toxic friend for years. She would always have a little giggle at my expense. She'd always laugh, and she'd always mock me, and she always made me feel like not always. No. Actually, we had lots of good times as well, but she did a lot of bad things as well. She tried to do a lot of problems as we grew up between us, and I put up with her for a long time until I decided that enough is enough. And the only reason why I put up with her so much.
And what did you do?
Is because of her family. Like I felt like I had a like a promise or something. Like to someone dear in her family to always be there for her or whatever. Anyways, so that didn't.
What did you do though when you had enough?
Oh, I just cut her off. I stopped talking to her. I completely locked her off.
Like when she would bug you, just walk away. Just be like,
No, I stopped talking to her. Like, if she would text or call, I wouldn't answer. I'd be like, yeah, whatever. And that's it. I don't want to know her again. That was the end. She wasn't a bully. She was like more of a toxic. But it is a kind of bully. I guess toxic relationship is a type of bullying, because she used to make me feel uncomfortable. Not all the time, but sometimes she felt like she wanted to wind me up, and I didn't like that. Like, that's just, why have a little dig? Like, why? But to make you feel good about yourself, I think that's not cool. And yeah, those are the only things that I can think of bullying. I've never been a bully. I've never bullied anyone. I'm bossy.
You might have defended for
I'm
yourself.
bossy. I've defended myself, but I've never bullied anyone. I mean, I bully your dad sometimes. I'm joking. But yeah, I don't think I am. Yeah, I think I like to stick up to people.
Yeah.
I like to defend people because I feel like I'm quite strong, and I feel like it's my mission to watch out for people. Like when I see little kids being picked on in the streets, I intervene and I'll stop a fight from happening. I'll be like, "What are you doing?" Like, and I'll intervene with the bullying person. I would get them out of the situation. I don't like it. I hate it. I think bullies are mean, and
a bully can be the most innocent person of their life that had an incident and thought, let's be a bully.
Yeah.
Let's change into a bully. I could be the really innocent and like tomorrow I'm a bully.
Yep.
And tomorrow I'll be this really cool
But you
bully.
know what a bully is? A bully is just
Someone jealous.
Someone who's a coward. Someone who's afraid of something and they are projecting it outwards. So they feel that they're not capable. They're like they've got a weakness inside them. There's something that's making them feel really vulnerable, really weak. And to hide it, they try to be a bully. Like they try to pick on someone so they can prove to themselves that they're stronger and better. Yeah. To try and hide from the weakness or the issue that they have. Do you understand? Like that's the bully. A bully's mindset is someone who's a coward. They don't want to face their fear. And instead of facing it, they're projecting it. Instead of facing it, what they do is that they will outwardly pretend to be almighty and strong, but inside they're trying to cover up their weakness that they have.
Yeah, bandage themselves up.
Exactly.
Like
but when you don't
hide the wound.
When you don't give the bully attention, you don't give a bully the thing that's feeding them. So if you ignore them, you don't give them attention, you walk away, and
you'll
like
see
they don't exist,
you'll see the weakness in
they
them.
just suddenly go find someone else who they think is weak to prey on. Because a bully will never try to get you if you're strong. If you're stronger, that'd be too much of a work. The whole point of a bully is that they want to feel power.
They pick the weakest people.
Exactly. They have to be weaker than them to pick on them. And
but even the bully, no, I want to correct you. Even the bully is not actually strong. It's pretending to be strong.
Exactly. No.
So even if they picked on someone weak, they're technically stronger than the bully. If that makes sense. Because the weaker person isn't pretending. So either way.
Exactly.
No luck.
Yeah, no luck there. So yeah,
and yet they still go with it.
Well, not really. Sometimes police people stand up for themselves, and they just bugger off. And do you know what I mean? Like you can't show them your weakness because they will prey on the weak. That's it. You need to stand up for yourself, and you just need to say no and have boundaries. Right? You need to know to say. You need to know when to say no. And parents need to make you feel like they empathize with you and that it's not their fault that someone bullied them and picked on them. Kids need to feel comfortable to be able to come to you. And how to build a kid's confidence is by getting them to join like lots of other clubs and stuff like that to build new friends and have more confidence in that area. Like that's really important as well. Like to build more friendships.
Another thing is physical bullying. Physical bullying isn't easy.
No.
It's really not easy for the bully at all.
For the bullied.
No, for the bully. It's not easy for the bully to touch someone. Because deep inside, they're like, oh my God, they're going to get hurt. Like, am I that cruel? Unless they're like a cruel bully, it's like nothing. And
so
it's
you're
really
saying that
hard.
they have an emotion. They
have
feel
an emotion.
Something.
They feel something.
It's not easy for them.
It's not easy for them, especially physical, violent bullying.
It's even harder.
It's even harder. Even when they talk to you and give physical,
Violent?
no, talking. Verbal. It's still really hard for them, which I think. But it's not, you can't just like all of a sudden be like, yeah, let me go ahead and punch you. Let me go ahead and punch you back.
With the smile?
Yeah, exactly.
Show us your smile.
You can't, it's not like that. You have to have the gut to have like 2 seconds to think, what am I going towards? Am I going towards, I don't want to be violent, I'm going to just say something, or, you know, I'm going to show them, I'm going to stand up for myself and I'm going to push them back, or I'm going to punch them back. It's even harder for you as well. It's like, it's hard for me, it's hard for you, it's hard for me, it's hard for you. Until...
They do it?
No. Until the problem's solved. Until either you're like, enough, just stop touching me. Like, there's, just go pick on someone else, or stop bullying. Like, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of bullying? Even if you're weak, even if you think you're weak, you're probably not even that weak. You're just telling yourself you're weak. So if you live a normal life and not be a bully and have normal friends and do normal stuff, you'll grow up more to be someone normal. And you'll be strong to defend yourself for future bullies. Because if the bully gets bullied, what are they going to do? They're weak.
I agree. So you're saying that the bullies should need to work on themselves?
They need to work on themselves. Stop caring about other people.
Yeah, that's actually really important. If everyone just focuses on themselves, yeah, maybe there won't be any bullies, right?
People are so irritated by other people. They're so focused on them. It's like, it's none of your business. Just focus on yourself. Just focus on yourself. What's important for you? Your health, how you're going to grow up to be when you're older, your studies, how to enjoy life, how to have fun, and not bully. Like, who wants to spend the whole break time walking around looking for someone to bully?
I don't know.
Exactly.
I agree.
It's just, who wants to spend their break time doing that?
I don't.
I don't.
Good. I'm glad we both agree at least. Okay. That's good.
Just wanted to throw that in.
Yeah, you feel more than that. We felt it from the heart.
Yeah.
It's very passionate. Love it.
Thank you.
So watch out there for all the bullies. You ain't picking on this one or this one, because this one got it from this one. So.
And don't let anybody bully you. Definitely.
Yes, the moral of the story. Don't let anyone bully you. Stand up
and
for
yourself. And even if they bully you,
speak to someone. Stand up for yourself.
Don't let it break you into pieces.
No.
Like a wrecking ball.
Yep. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Anyways.
Thank you guys for listening. for next time. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao.